New spot unlocked. You've got me in my true Kim and Aggie element. So today's one, third-party apps versus your own website. Now, this is a super interesting one because the pros and cons of this are super extensive. However, I'm going to obviously do what I do best to minimize the sort of conjecture and try and give you some sort of like simple articulation on it. Third-party apps are the best way to use a platform to essentially elevate yourself. You don't have to worry about advertising. You're seen by an audience and you have to pay a commission cost for that luxury and experience. Swap the sides and you're doing your own website. Now with the website, we have to think about marketing. We have to think about how we're advertising ourselves. And that is where the whole sort of scene of things gets complicated. Do you want to be a brand? Do you want to be a brand and have to spend and invest a lot of time into social media advertising and building yourself and getting a name out there? Or would you rather be on a platform like a third-party one that won't need you to do that? However, I will say I've noticed quite a few people on TikTok recently that are brands on Depop or whatever it might be, maybe even eBay. I think most of the time it's Depop. People that use TikTok tend to do Depop. But they're people who are advertising their Depop as a means of that. I've always found that like crazy, to be honest, because I always find using my own funds to advertise on a third-party website just like not the best streamline of marketing or spend of money. You know, I guess it's everybody's like in their own position. Maybe you're watching this and you've got your own Depop and you're like, no, I just advertise Depop because I don't really want to have to spend money on building a Shopify store or, you know, whatever the platform you use and then having to actually start from the ground up. So it's all preference based. You know, most of you might even know my story. So where I came from is I did start on ASOS Marketplace, and I was on ASOS Marketplace for 7 years, and I mean this, I'm not saying this like it's a brag, this is just like a humble recognition to it. I was number one on the platform for 7 years, 6 to 7 years consecutively on there. So with that kind of like recognition of what I was doing, I invested in the models on a third-party platform. I guess I invested in the image that was actually going to be displayed to the audience on the platform, but I didn't ever market it in terms of like putting adverts out there. Although I did use Instagram to advertise it. Of course I did. We was on there for 7 years. It was a big part of the brand. And then we used that to pivot ourselves off to our own website, which I do think it is the goal. The reason why, the main reason, right, this is why I'm going to tell you, this is a point that I'm going to say that you might all sit there and go, oh, okay, that's actually so interesting. You might not, but you might. The main reason why I wanted my own website was because when you have 50 people, 20 people, 100 people going onto your store a day, you are the sole proprietor of profitability and benefit from that outcome. There might be millions of people going on Depop every day, but there's millions and millions of people to compete with every single day. Don't get me wrong, the people that go on your website probably check Depop as well. But, and this is where we go into a bit more of a complexity down the line about how to actually brand yourself or how to use third-party apps in your favour. Look at this one. Sorry, hang on, look how cool that is. That's sick. That's going to go on the website, actually. Ferrari and Fila, that's so cool, isn't it? Sorry, got distracted there. We are surrounded by all these clothes at the end of the day. So when we come down to third-party platforms and we come down to like your own website, it really is, again, back to that whole preference-based outcome. Do you know, like I say, I started from a third-party platform, and without the third-party platform, I might not have been able to pivot a website on my own. However, having the website made me realise that that was a much more beneficial outcome. A lot of the people that now know the brand don't know me because of what it was at the beginning. Those people helped me find new people, but they aren't all the people that actually like still use the platform now. So it's good leverage. But then I guess, sorry, how noisy are hangers? It kind of comes down to whether you're oh my God. It kind of comes down whether you're building a brand or you're just trying to sell products. So third-party platforms, oh my God. Honestly, I don't know why I'm just having an argument with the hangers. It just totally comes down to what your intentions are. Intentions are a big word that I'll kind of use throughout all these videos as well, because I think it's relative to intentions. Third-party platforms are super, super convenient because essentially anybody can do them. Anybody can set one up, say that they're a boutique or whatever, call themselves Blue Lamp Vintage, and be on their way selling. And that's not a mockery to people that have called themselves obscure names. I know how it is thinking about names, but you just quickly get a brand up there and you do it. I've done it on alias brands where I've not been gully and I've just set ones up, and you get sales very quickly, very, very quickly. But it just depends what the long-term goal is. I always found when I was selling on a third-party platform, and the biggest pivotal point for me was when I was on ASOS Marketplace for 7 years, we was absolutely one of the leaders on that platform, and we was really doing well. Grateful for every moment of opportunity I got to be on that platform and do my service by it. However, ASOS Marketplace made a massive change, and a lot of the traffic that used to come from there was from ASOS.com. And then what happened, I can't remember the year, but it was probably been about 18 months before I thought it's time to do a website. Oh my God, these hangers. Basically, they took ASOS Marketplace off the traffic of ASOS.com. So the reason why Marketplace got a lot of steam to begin with is because ASOS.com was co-signing it. And then they kind of stopped. And I'm not sure what the reason was behind it. I have a few thoughts, but that's for a different video. They sort of stopped it. And then what I realised from that was the traffic reduced, and as a result of the traffic reducing, so did the sales. And at that point, they dropped half. Because obviously everybody knows how many people are first-time buyers that buy from you and stuff like that. They absolutely reduced, and I thought, I'm selling on a third-party platform that's in this moment in complete control and dictating where I get my traffic from, or the most part of it, minus my social media attempts. I was like, this is controlling a lot of this factor. Whereas when you're your own website, you're in the driving seat. You're not in the carriage as a passenger, kind of hoping with everybody else that's a passenger that the guy that's driving the train's going the right way. That's actually probably the analogy I'd say. Being on a third-party platform is like being the passenger in a carriage on a train with loads of other passengers, whereas it's obvious one, but being on your own website is you are the conductor, you are the driver, and all the customers are the passengers. If you keep the passengers intrigued, they'll stay on the train. And if you don't, then they'll get off at the next stop. And third-party platforms are quite like that. You are amongst so many other people, hoping for the best, seeing where the next brand goes. You're not in control of what Depop's next update might be. And that's not to say that the updates are ever bad. I think that, again, I'll still shout Depop's Corner. I'm a big advocate for third-party platforms having a brilliant placement in repurposing second-hand, encouraging a more sustainable economy, and helping people that want to start selling and being in business, helping you out with an easy setup. But I'm thinking that for the people that either want to be a brand or want to see what it's like in the secret garden of your own website, I would say that you should really have your own website if you're serious about it as well. You can always I treat websites, I think websites have to be treated a bit like how quick it is to grow a bonsai tree. And I tell you this right now, I struggle to grow a bonsai tree. They are effort. But what it teaches you is a discipline of perseverance. If you want to grow a bonsai tree, you've got to be prepared to wait for years for that to kind of come into its fruition. The same way with a website. Get an Instagram, work on a third party, but It's going to be a slow build, but it's going to be a worthwhile build. Imagine getting hundreds and hundreds of people a day to your website, and the whole thing they're there for is because you've brought them to the website. That's what's always made me fascinated by a website. So I think this one actually, I'm kind of going round a bit on my topics here, like going in and out. With third parties versus your own website, I would say it's just totally dependent on what you want out of your selling experience. If you are just happy in the bedroom, making £600 profit a month, keeping it nice and easy breezy, and you don't really want to have a face to a brand and all that sort of stuff, then keep it as a third-party apps because they're there for a reason. They're there to help create more money. But all I'd say is that you're not in control of when they decide to make business changes or adjustments or new terms and conditions. I know a lot of people say with Depop that have just got kicked off for no reason, and then you're starting back from square one. But I'm not casting shade on it. I think that they both provide the perfect things for whatever your preference is. Personally, I would say get a website, try a website. You can get a Shopify one from £20 a month. I'm not sponsored by Shopify yet, but I would advise and recommend it. Sorry, that was horrible. Yeah, anyway, I'm off ski. Appreciate you all for watching as always.